And a very warm welcome, viewers and pool fans, to Pro Billiard TV and the 2026 Pro Billiard Series, bringing you the live action from deep in the Austrian Alps, the picturesque Hotel Alpina Alpendorf. And you join us now, the halfway stage on day 5, and we move over to the Predator mixed doubles event. And well, what a matchup we have. Individually, top players in the world. Collectively, well, I'm looking forward to a very close contest. We have Team Ouschan's Jasmin and Albin taking on Team Tkach, Kaci, Kristina and Eklent. Well, this is a 10-ball event. Races to 4, best of 3 sets. It's winner breaks format and no early 10s, players under the shot clock. So far, well, I'll tell you now, ladies and gentlemen, we started off on table 1 with a shootout. We've not long just finished on this table with an even more exhilarating shootout. A matchup between Felix Vogel and this man at the table, Albin Ouschan. Albin bested in that shootout, making an exit from the men's event. So teaming up with Jasmin, as we familiarly see, and be looking to go deep in this event, as there is a very nice prize pot out there for the taking. So Team Ouschan winning the lag, and they will get the break, and it will be Albin to get our opening set underway. Well, Albin had his break working very well at the start of his last match. Sort of had a bit of a wobble mid-match, but he's back to firing form. The only problem is there is no look at the next ball, being the blue 2. So a little bit of deliberation between the pair. Normally wearing the same outfit, today slightly different colours. They do have the option to push from the break. I mentioned Albin taking an exit from the men's event. Jasmin at the table, still very much in the women's event. She's in the last 16 matchup against a very informed Japanese player, Yuki Hiraguchi. And they will be kicking off their match tomorrow. But back to this match now, and Eklent Kaçi to the table with the first of their shots in this match. No cover on for the 2, so good open shot. Can't imagine they're going to give this back. I didn't hear exactly what the call was. He may have cheekily called a bank. Be aware, you'll hear a lot of calls in this format, and that can be just for insurance purposes, even when they're looking to play a safe cue ball. And that's really because if they do by any chance pop the object ball, their opponent would have the option to give you the shot back if it wasn't called. Now, not a bad result, but looks like there's enough of the long rail in sight that there are 2 options here for Team Ouschan. They can either play the long rail first and look to make the pot, or they could play a kick and stick and try and keep the cue ball down by that 9. Well, they could see it and made the pot cleanly with great position on the 3. Didn't pick that one up from the camera. Albin and Jasmin clearly did. This now has opened up to be a very nice opportunity. Ball's out in the open. Needs to avoid the 9 here, though. Ooh. A little kiss on the cheek. And that will still be available now with the 4 for Albin to play shape on the 6, rather. Good start. Didn't look like they were going to get an opportunity from that containing push, but they did, and quick to pounce on it. Jasmin and Albin tidying away the remaining balls in this opening rack, something that I believe is going to become a familiar sight, not just with both Jasmin and Albin, but also their opponents. They really can play solid, tight pool, and if they've gelled together as well, as I mentioned, this could be a real close encounter, and it can come down to such things as break success and getting object ball in play for their next shot. Something that some teams and players have been struggling with. And for those astute viewers and those who have been with us for the past 5 days, we do have live statistics available on the Pro Billiards Series website, coupled with live scores. And you'll start to notice that the match can really be shaped from the break, and with the caliber of these players being able to make clearances out of the most difficult of opportunities, I'm really excited to see if either team is going to look to dominate in that department. As we just look over at our other table, that's the matchup between the Fillers and Savannah Roadrunner Easton and Jason Shaw. We're all 8 minutes deep into the match, and the scores start coming in. I will keep you abreast of the situation, but they're all running live on ProBilliardsSeries.com. Now Jasmin with the second of Team Ouschan's breaks. Nine coming round the angles. Not such a nice look on the 1, but again, success from the break. Quick survey of the table. The 4 and the 6 locked up. Looks like both the 8 and the 9 dropped from the break. Nicely done, bringing both 2 and 5 into play. Not such a difficult one to escape from, but really showing great respect to Team Eklent Kaçi. And while I was mentioning about the match underway on table 1, we also have our other stream table, table 3, and that's the matchup between Team Zhang Zolnoki, and they're taking on the Japanese pairing, Kawahara and Naoki Oi. As you can see in the background, the arena filling up nicely. Anyone in St. Johann in Pongau, deep in the Austrian Alps, please do come by. It's free to come in and watch and get up close with the players. Maybe grab a few autographs. Now Eklent, 2 rails. Oh, was in danger. for the Ouschans of that cue ball sticking behind the 3. It hasn't. And that's a reward from Albin's safety shot. And this is exactly how they've been making their way through this mixed doubles tournament. Played nicely. They've both had a look at the 4-6 cluster. I would dare say that there's a 4-6 combination up into the top right, even though there's a lot of distance. That overhead may be playing a mirage on me, but otherwise there's a bank on into the same pocket where they'll be playing the red 3 here, the left side pocket. Don't think there's enough gap to get in to play the cut. Jasmin may be looking to screw into it here. No, playing underneath. Now, either my earlier suspicion of the combination up to the top right is a good one, or Albin's going to be looking to play safe from here and leave that 4 behind the 6. He's having a good look at it. Oh, he's made it. The 4's just travelled onto the rail perhaps, which makes this a little trickier up into the same pocket. One thing I did forget to mention, the table 1 and table 3, those matches are actually in the winners qualification group. This match in the losers 3rd round. A little bit of a longer journey for these guys. Whoever wins this match, they've still got to play another to get into the quarterfinals and the money. Looking very good for Team Ouschan at the moment. Some good shots made in there. Wasn't the most straightforward of clearances. They'll be very happy with that. And in this winner's break format, taking a 2-0 lead, very, very fruitful. I mentioned about the prize pot early on in this match. It is 32 teams that have entered in this Predator Mixed Doubles Open. And it's got $100,000 total prize pot with $40,000 to the champ and $20,000 for runner-up, 2nd place, $10,000 3rd and 4th, and to get into the quarterfinals you will guarantee yourselves $5,000. Real nice prize pot for these guys, and that is what the hype is about. And for these 2 teams to be meeting in the losers, it just goes to show the quality out there. Albin having a little interesting look over across at the fillers against Shaw and Easton. I will keep my eye on the scores, but as you will have noticed, both losers 3rd round matches and winners qualification matches underway in this Mixed Doubles Open. Following on from this match at 7 p.m. tonight, we will have the losers qualification, so you'll get to very likely see the winner of this match back in action. And so far, 2 breaks, 2 successful breaks, and 2 points on the board, with no reply yet from Team Tkach Kaci. Ooh, little raise of the hand from Albin. I don't know really if it was necessary, because he'd hit that nice and hard and got balls tracking. The 1 this time didn't make it, but the 9 did find its way into the side pocket. So stay at the table, and not a bad look at the 1. Two should pass the 10, might not pass the 10, and that would mean a very delicate shot to leave on that. So they're now looking at their options. The 5 taking the top right opportunity for that blue 2 away. This is going to be interesting how they navigate this opening 1 ball. Could really open up this rack, but could present them with a little problem. Okay, a tilt of the head from Jasmin would indicate that cue ball has not reacted exactly how she had hoped. Albin still surveying that top right corner. If it doesn't have a direct pocket, it could slide in off the long rail. Played at pocket speed, and that would actually work, because the cue ball should float up naturally for the 3. He's hit it with some venom and caught that 5 ball. That's not going to work out, and there is potentially a pathway to the potting angle. If so, Eklent will not turn this down. Kristina having a good lean over for a look herself. She's not giving anything away. Possibilities to come off the short rail first with a kick and stick and get the 2 ball up the table towards that 10 ball. He could see an edge, but clearly not enough to take the pot on. And that's just come up a little short. Had a fantastic line. But instead of getting full ball cover, it gives Jasmin now an opportunity to see if she can put her opponents in trouble. I'm not too sure how much of the 2 she can see. Maybe she's going to try a similar shot and bring the cue ball up to where it is now. No, but didn't get cover. Kristina has been picking shots off into these side pockets with relative ease throughout this tournament, whereas some players have just been finding them a bit trickier from tighter angles. Team Tkach Kaci made their way over into this match from a loss from Team Veselowska Snigocki, who are in action in the winners qualification group. Actually, likewise with the Ouschans, they lost, or rather their match that they lost to move over to the loser side against Team Yu Wu, who are actually matched up against Veselowska and Snigocki in the winners qualification group. Some big names out there, some big matches, and they really have been delivering, these players. This one a little bit more, well, at the moment, less jovial than some of the others. And I can fully understand why. Not just because of the money up for grabs, but the Ouschans playing on home soil in Austria. They'll be wanting to deliver. And Kristina Tkach, well, they're just types of players that like to go out there and perform and really not get invested in anything else other than the game. And that will be their first point on the board with a high five. And that keeps this opening set looking rather healthy. And it will give them the next break. As we just have a quick look out, I'll just run through the matches in the winners qualification bracket first. 4 matches. As I mentioned, Veselowska Snigocki up against Han Yu and Wu. 2-1 to Han Wu there. We have Zhang Zolnoki currently in their opening set, 2-1 up on Kawahara Oi. Over on our other table 1, Eastern Shore have taken a 3-0 lead in their opening set against the Fillers. And Hiraguchi Shevchek a 1 apiece against Liu Sei. As you just get a look at Pierre at the table there. Looking to make something happen, and that is not it. So, still looks a bit of life left on that table, but good position for Team Eastern Shore. Good seeing the Roadrunner in action. I'm sure she's learning loads from Jason. I'm sure she's teaching Jason a thing or two as well. They have been playing in great spirits, smiling, laughing. Good contact. That cue ball is tracking though towards the corner. And that's a scratch off the break. And as if by magic, the break statistics come up. Ouschan's 100%, as I was pointing out on the break. And straight from the get-go, Tkach Kaci with that scratch has picked up a foul and still yet to get off the mark. You have to say a quick turn of advantage as well, because it was a lovely clearance by the pair and a good break, you feel. They could have gone on a little march in this winner breaks format. Back to Jasmin and Albin. Looking for that area, wanting to finish just high on the red 3 to ensure they can bring the cue ball down for the 4 to the bottom left, I would imagine. That would mean the 10 is hampering it. Jasmin very much giving away so much with her body language. It makes it a little easier in the comms box to guess what they're thinking. So possibly has just run down a little bit further than anticipated with the cue ball. Gonna have to take a longer and more acute angle on the 4. Albin doing the calculations. I'm wondering if he's looking to put a big shot on this. No. Left that cue ball, I'm guessing, to make a straight combination on the 10. Doesn't look to be straight from that position, though. Not sure I heard a call either. I did not hear a call. This was all about locking up their opponents, and that's just the respect they have for Kristina and Eklent. And they're still having a little chat about it there, but I don't think there's anything to chat about. That was perfectly executed by Jasmin. Eklent's just looking at the possibility of a one-rail escape. Kristina agreeing with a nod of the head. Going to be interesting to see if cover can be found. Contact first and foremost. Full contact. That's actually going to work quite well. Okay, the 4's got quite a bit of distance off the rail. But where it's positioned, that's a very fine cut to consider. Albin would ideally like to use that 5 or 7. Might even use both. Didn't find either. Didn't find the 10, but what Eklent's found is a nice window to it. These are the sorts of shots in offense mode he'll just smash on the bank. And if he feels he's all out of options, that might be what he'll need to do. Whoa! Heart stop moment. Executed well, and it could be a bit of a bonus if that edge of the 5 is available. What a shot. And I mentioned if he felt he needed to go for it. Some of the safety options probably were just as difficult as making the bank. Yeah, a little exhale from Kristina, but they both knew that this was what was going to be left for Eklent. He's had to hit that hard to hold the cue ball, and in doing so, that not only increases the level of difficulty, but also increases the chances of that corner pocket refusing to swallow the ball. Team Ouschan back to the table. It was a difficult 6, and they had to sacrifice the position because of the way they were left on the 5. Now, not too shabby an opportunity here. Jasmin's played that well, left a good angle for Albin to track that cue ball up to the top of the table for the 8. And should be looking good to get on the hill first in this opening set. Yep, picked up the long rail with a nice healthy bounce. No need for conversation here. Jasmin and Albin, brother and sister, know each other's game inside out. If you do get a chance to visit the Pro Billiards Series social media pages, please do have a look at some of the interviews that have come through on the last few days. There was a wonderful one between the pair of them, and some really good probing questions. Great ambassadors to the sport, very well loved in their own country as well as Europe and more. And a fist bump will mean Team Ouschan first on the hill, have been the better team. So very well deserved. As we just take a look across the arena, I mentioned both winners qualification and losers third round matches underway. We do already have a first set result in the losers third round between Fu Graba, who have taken the opening set in quick fashion, against Team Mete FSR, or rather Maria Teresa Rapero and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. They'll be taking a break, preparing for their second set. We have also in action in the losers third round the German pairing of Ina Kaplan and Moritz Neuhausen. They're trailing 1-2 in the opening set against Wang Al-Qaidi. And the other match underway, joining this one and them two, is the matchup with Chen Maciol, who are leading 3-1 against Zhong Zelensky. Jasmin to break. Team Ouschan leading 3-1 in this opening set on the hill. Would love to put this one to bed at this opportunity. Wow. I was just having a little look around the table. From the dry break, Team Tkach Kaci find themselves in an awful position. But the reason I said I was looking around the table, I was looking for a place to push to. And that's where they've decided. But right now, it's not the prettiest of layouts, so I would anticipate an exchange of safeties here. I'm just wondering if Albin can push that cue ball up onto the 3. No. He's played off the edge to look for the more traffic down at his end of the table. And that has come in nicely into the 10 to hold the cue ball covered with the 5. There's been a couple of occasions in this opening set where Team Ouschans have put Kristina and Eklent in bother. And so far it seems to be working. Let's jump over the 5. Played thick. Where will that travel to? I believe that's travelled far enough for the 6 to hamper. And if they do go to jump it, I can imagine they're going to call the 1-8 combination. Oh, we've called the ref just to have a closer inspection. Okay, no, rail first. Very thin edge. Oh, a bit thicker than she anticipated. You could see that was a great effort. Not much happening there, but Kristina to the table. And this is where they could start to swing momentum. If they can get Albin locked up tight for when he gets to the table, chances could come their way. Sorry for the silence. I was busy trying to pick up on what Eklent was saying to Kristina, but I do like the conversation. Just giving her an area for a choice, helping her pick out the way to get there. Possibly the best from that situation. I think she was looking just to bring the 4 as cover. It's not worked out quite like that, but the 7-8 cluster is still something that's going to be needing attention for whichever team gets this far, or rather that far in this this rack. Didn't hear a call. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Pots the 3 unintentionally, and team Tkach Kaci have the choice rather to give this one back. Well, I was about to say, he looks like he's not giving it back, but it looks like he's not committing to the shot. The latter for the former, and yeah, he's called Team Ouschan's back to the table. So, looking at massaging around the blue 2 to catch the lower side of the side pocket on the long rail, which will throw the cue ball down towards the 1. Maybe picking up the short rail first, 2 rails. There may be a call for that 1 ball going close to the bottom right corner, and if it goes wrong, maybe the cue ball. Oh, she's just come round the back of it. I didn't see the 1 ball move. No, it didn't. So ball in hand at a crucial time in this opening set. This has got to be the moment they pull the trigger and get this scoreline looking a little healthier, because this is a race to 4, opponents on the hill. Yeah, they do spend a little bit of time wanting to make sure they get it right for their teammate. I can tell you something, both these players can pop from anywhere. I'm pretty sure if they put it in and around the area they would want, their teammate would gladly take it. But at the moment it's not affecting the shot clock or putting them under any unnecessary pressure. But I'm sure the longer these guys play together as a doubles team, the slicker they will get in gameplay. That was the aggressive shot. Opened up that 7, which was the problem. Ball in hand at this level with both teams. So dangerous. Nicely done, not bringing the long rail into play. This Well, of course it's important because a rack loss here will be loss of set, but more importantly, very important to the confidence. Because a couple of things, well, really testament to their opponents putting them in safe positions, but just not getting the opportunities. And now they are really important to run them out. Solid. Eklent Kaçi finishing off the job for team Tkach Kaci, and they bring the scoreline back to 3-2. This opening set isn't over yet. Let's have a little look over at the winners' qualification. 4 matches underway. Veselovska Snegocki on the hill, leading 3-2 in their opening set against Hanyu and Wu. Over on the next table, well, Kawahara, Naoki Oi have taken the opening set. They lead 1-0 and no score. They're sat on their break. And the fillers against Eastern Shore have taken the next 2. They trail 2-3 in their opening set. Over on table 1. And the last one in the winners' qualification, Hiraguchi Shevchek and Liu Sei. Well, they're locked at 2 apiece in their opening set. So the winners' qualification group warming up very nicely. And this opening set, well, this could have a little twist and turn still left in its tail. The referee being very precise as we just take a look at filler at the table. I was taking a little look at the live statistics as they're coming in. So far, 0% break success for team Tkach Kaci as Kristina gets out of her chair. The fillers desperately looking to get that opening set to a hill. Kristina and Eklent in the same boat. And with that little nudge, a dream break for them both. I believe that 3 with the final little roll it made has just opened up for the side pocket. What a great break from Kristina. I am reflecting back to yesterday where she started off her match as well with doing just that. And it was down to not hitting them as hard as she normally would. Yeah, and as you can see from that angle, the 5 is available to the side pocket, the right side pocket. That will work. That gives Eklent a very nice angle to come out across centre table. And without looking to jinx this, what a time to keep the Ouschans stuck in their chair. This winner breaks format can lend itself to these situations arriving, and what looked like a very, very strong opening set for Jasmin and Albin could be snuffed out very quickly without them having any opportunity to say anything about it. So good things can come from this. Plenty just saying anything above the 7 as it passes the 8. That will work. That second bounce just takes a little bit of energy out of the cue ball. Doesn't look too steep an angle for Plenty to hold for the 8. Oh. And if we weren't feeling hot enough, ladies and gentlemen, this match has just gone up a couple of degrees. So from that ball in hand, a rack a go, a break and run. Scoreline's back to level. We're at Hill. Unbelievable and great stuff. As you can see there, break success now, 50% for Tkach Kaci. They're starting to make it work. I'm just wondering how it went over on table 1. We were taking a little look. Still, oh yep, the fillers have brought that to 3-3 as well. Whew. Those guys sat at the back of the arena are really in it for a treat. They get to see both matches at the same time. I'm sure our tech-savvy viewers will have both matches up running. This is great, top flight stuff. Testament to Predator and Pro Billiard Series and the sponsors for getting this prize money together and bringing these players together. And also, don't let me forget our viewers and our loyal viewers from home watching and supporting. Thank you very much. Now, big break for Plenty. Kristina out of her chair. Oh. The one threatened the side pocket. Again threatened the side pocket. And tucking his cue under the arm with a fist bump. There's nothing you can do about that. However, not to be dismayed, that look at the 1 is not, well, certainly not there for the attack, but it's going to force Albin to have to play a safe. Just wondering if he thinks he can play it thin enough to nibble it behind the 8, that yellow 1 ball, behind the 9, and get the cue ball safe. Neither team can afford to make a mistake at this point. When you look at the spread of the balls on the table, you feel the first good open look should be the final visit for the team in play. A little bit of levity between the two there. Still having a conversation. Extension. There is a pot on to the bottom left corner. There are options for safe. Wow. That's unfortunate. Kristina going offense a fantastic pot on what was a rather difficult one ball. Did the cue ball come over enough for the cut? Kaci looks like it does. Oh, it does. The 7. A little tilt of the head. That cue ball was supposed to come further up the table. This isn't over, but a lot more trickier now. Oh, Kristina looking to pick that 5 ball through that window. Talk about threading through the eye of a needle. Wow. Oh, cue ball, don't misbehave. Wow. This is nail-biting stuff. We're only in the first set, ladies and gentlemen. Hill, and I'm not sure. Looks like he can see enough of it to take the pot on. Yeah, and more importantly, he was able to avoid the 6. A big, deep breath from Eklent there. He knew how tight that was. That could have been the difference between end of visit and, or rather, very, very tricky 4 and this position. Still needs a shot to get for the 6. Look at that draw. Look at that draw. These guys are digging deep. Yep. And in quick summary, from a 3-1 advantage, a good safe and a ball in hand, followed by a break and run, saw the match all square. This has been no straightforward run out either. But right now, it's up for grabs. And to catch Kaci, look like they have the glove on, ready to catch it. What a turnaround. Team Ouschan will not be dismayed. It's not been through their, or rather, continuation of errors. It's been down to this gentleman and that lady walking up with a big smile on her face. They really took control at 3-1 down, and they brought it back to take the opening set 4-3. Jasmin and Albin quickly out their chairs. Not happy with that, understandably, but take nothing away from Team Tkach Kaci. They will take a quick break. Before I take a break with them, I'll just give you a quick update on the scores remaining in this losers round 3. We've got Song Zielinski. They've lost their opening set against Chen Maciol. They're having a break, looking forward to their second set to kick off. Fu Graba, after taking the opening set against Rapero Sanchez Ruiz, and now whopped at 1 apiece in their second set. And Kaplan Neuhausen, they lost their opening set to Wang Al-Kaidi, and they're on their break now as well. If you want to keep updated with the scores, please do visit ProBilliardsSeries.com, as you can just have a little look at the match underway on table 1. That's the matchup between Pia and Joshua Filler and Easton Shaw. Whoa, the Fillers have taken that opening set after being 3-0 down. And they are moving in to their second set as I speak. Now, players have taken a break. My name's Gethin Davis. I'm going to take a short break with them. We'll be back very shortly for what will be undoubtedly another thrilling set, and it will be the start of our second. And a very warm welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this thrilling Predators mixed double matchup in the losers' third round group. A match between Jasmin and Albin Ouschan taking on Kristina Tkach, Eklent Kaçi. Well, you can look at the balls pocketed coming in there, but the summary of the set was the Ouschans really were looking to dominate, taking a 3-1 lead. Team Tkach Kaçi taking advantage of a missed escape from Team Ouschan, and in bringing it back to 3-2, broken ran to get it to Hill, and then took their opportunity to close the first set out. And a little bit of a shocker for those who may have joined when it was 3-1. And while we were on our break, we were just having a little look at the match over on table one. That's a winners qualification matchup between Pia Joshua Filler, and they take on Savannah East and Jason Shaw. And that one looked like Jason and Savannah had taken a good early lead, which the Fillers clawed back, and successfully bested in their opening set. That match being brought to you with my dear colleagues George Teachea and Eric Hallefson. I'm sure they are having a blast. Maybe they're even losing their voices because it sounds like they're having as much action as I am. So we will get this second set underway. And I did introduce this match, and I've got it underlined now. Individually, these guys are some of the top players in the world today. But collectively, this could go any way. And I was just thinking, and I said, I look forward to a close contest. Well, that first set couldn't get any closer. Kristina Tkach breaking. Had good reward from her earlier break. On this occasion, not to be. Albin out of his chair. These two would have had a little chat, but there's really nothing they could have done apart from that missed escape. Now, good look at the one. Nice traffic to put the cue ball behind with the 3-4-7. But that may mean he's tracking that one ball towards the bottom left corner, or bottom right as we're looking at it. That will work. I don't think the window's there for the edge to be picked up. Kaci very proficient with playing jump safe shots. He's got a very good understanding of how the cue ball is. In fact, both him and Kristina do. Very good idea of where the cue ball will go if they have to. Oh, there's an edge. And that is a nice response. But yeah, wasn't expecting to see Eklent to be able to go for the edge. He could, and there may again be the thinnest of edges for Jasmin here. The kick and stick isn't really on because it looks like if she comes behind the one, it's going to collide into the 3 and likely stay up that side of the table. She called the one in the top left. Sometimes that can just be a bit confusing to us watching because they may be looking to actually play a safety as their primary focus. Or she could see an edge, and enough of an edge to go for the pot. Played it in such a way that the cue ball came with a lot of distance, and that one ball has landed on the short rail. What was Kristina looking at there? I didn't hear what she said to Eklent. Oh, I like the way she's played that. She may not get the cover, but that was very nicely done. Sort of played a little bit for the double kiss with the topspin. That's a very nice shot to have in your repertoire. Albin crouched over, shaking his head a little bit, clearly turning down options. Which one's he going to pick? It's delicate. He's used the 9 to take the energy out of that one ball, which it has done, and he's got cover, but the one ball is dressed up rather nicely. Kaci's called it, jumping over the 5. Shouldn't have too many issues needing to keep the cue ball down. Oh, okay. He didn't go back to get his jump stick. He changed his mind. Little tap on the table. Jasmin's having a look at options to get onto the one. Looks like it's going to be either a kick and stick or just glance off the edge of the one, push the one towards the 9. It was the latter. How's the cue ball? Great distance, 5 blocking. Lovely little tussle in the safety department. Oh, I think there's an edge. The thinnest of edges on the right-hand side as we look. Wow. That was the thinnest of edges. What does the cue ball do? It misbehaves. Wow, I'm not sure she even thought that getting it that thin was possible. A lot of distance between it and object ball when she took that shot. Ball in hand. Could be useful, but where that one ball is, Albin's forced into taking this combination on. Well, I assume he is. Yep. And that is a backfire. Okay, so Jasmin, reset. Up and down the table. I'm not too sure if she's playing one or picking up that long rail just before the one, but she's called it in the, well, it's the bottom right pocket as we look from the overhead. Pocket, corner pocket just below Jasmin. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a keeper. Fantastic shot. And a great recovery shot, you have to say. She'll be happy with that. More importantly, Team Ouschan will be happy to be still at the table, in control. Nicely done. Little bump on the 7. Slightly awkward cue in for Jasmin. I think that's down to the hampered cueing, in fairness. And that will see Team Tkach Kaci out of their chairs. Like I said, not many errors from either team, but that one could be costly. Nice angle. Play into the short rail at the top of the table. Bring the cue ball back down. It's a good pace. It doesn't want to rest on the rail. That now makes this a little trickier, but should be good for shape on the 6. I had the pleasure on day 2 commentating on one of Kristina Tkach's matches. She took on a very formidable Linnea Halmarstrom that went all the way, and she really set the scene out there. Had the opportunity to listen to her post-match interview as well. She was very honest, and I think that she is going and is turning into a fantastic ambassador for the sport. Nicely done. And yes, at the moment, looking like a very costly mistake from Jasmin. It was one mistake in the opening set that really swung the momentum for Team Tkach Kaci. Ooh. Now this 10 just got that bit more difficult. Not a problem. Turnaround from Kristina. I'm not sure what words were exchanged, but a little fist bump. They'll be very happy with that. That did look like Jasmin and Albin were just going to regain control early in the second set, but they didn't. 1-0 to Tkach Kaci. We'll just have a quick look at the latest. We'll start with the winners qualification. I do believe this is the latest. Veselovska-Snegotski, they are on a hill thriller in their opening set against Han Yu Wu. Well, Kawahara Oi did take their opening set against Zhang and Zolnoki, and they are now also 3-0 up in the second, so they're looking in very good form. Over on our other TV table, table 1, the Fillers are 2-0 up in their second set, leading 1-0. And a very interesting opening set on our remaining winners qualification match. Hiraguchi-Shevchuk 3-3 with Liu Se. All them live scores on ProBilliardSeries.com. Coming up after this group of matches, we will move into the losers qualification of the mixed doubles. And that then will set off the remaining 3 days tomorrow with the quarterfinals. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Eklent Kaçi to break. Currently leading both 1 rack in the second set and by 1-0. The 1 ball, quick as a whistle into the top left corner. Hasn't left any look on the 2, but Kristina is at the table. Kaci ran to have a look as well. Yeah, nothing immediately obvious springing to mind. Sometimes when I'm joined by my dear colleague Tim de Louter in the box, he'll start having a little look around the table to see if there's any problems that they can create in playing the push shot. Like putting the 3 up against the 8, for instance, if you were just to take a quick glance at the table now. Only just to prevent their opponents from being able to run out. It's quite a defensive shot. And as you've seen in this match so far, although these players have great defensive play, they certainly expect themselves to run out, so they really don't want to take away that opportunity when there's still so many balls on the table. Now this is an interesting push. pushed it onto the short rail with distance between the 1 and the 2, but this isn't a straight shot. This could be something that Albin will want to have a little look at. There's certainly good value with where the 3 is, even if they don't get position to get a safe from it. The value may be in taking this on. Oh, he's caught that much thinner than he anticipated as well. How's the knock on the 9? Will it help? No, it will not. And they're not big mistakes, but they're mistakes.
Depends. Really, you don't know how big the mistake is until you see the scoreline reflect, but it will start to add up for Team Ouschan. And in a must-win second set, they're really going to have to tighten up on that. Oh, that's unfortunate. He's loaded up on that, knowing that that cue ball was running into that cluster. He wanted it to come out. It hasn't. It's frozen solid. There is 2/3 rail, but if they play the 3 rail, they'll need to play it with pace to try and make sure a rail is made contact with after contact in the 3. Oh, wasn't far away. Went for the 2 railer. Okay. They have returned the favour, ball in hand. Jasmin at the table. As I mentioned, Jasmin is still also in our Belarus Carino Women's Open with the last 16 matchup against Yuki Hiraguchi. Kristina Tkach also in that last 16 group. She's matched up against Sosoa. In fact, Albin was just ejected from the men's event in a shootout against Felix Vogel. Eklent Kaçi is in the quarterfinal still in the men's event. Billard Beckman. And he faces Wu Kunlin. Now, ball in hand, fully expected to Jasmin to look to take control. That shot beautifully played, locking it up against the 8 and giving Eklent not as many options to be able to make contact on this 3. So maybe the 3 railer
to come up behind the 3 ball. 1, 2, 3 up behind it. That's what he wanted.
And even if he hasn't got cover, that's a great shot. Oh. He did make that look easy. It's very easy to commentate on, but that was a fantastic shot. Now, Albin going for the thin slice, knowing that that cue ball's going to run back round to where he is now. He has. Caught it a bit thick, but as I said, that cue ball running back into trouble.
Good sort of two-way shot he's taken on that. Tell you something. It's in Kristina's ability, or bag rather, to make this jump shot. Very proficient in this department. But it wasn't her jump stick. She was massaging, coming down on the cue ball with a lot of left-hand side to put a bit of bend on the cue ball. A bit like the 10-pin bowling players do. It's not worked out. Ball in hand for the second time. Much better position for Team Ouschan. Okay. Thin cut now would mean
running the cue ball down table. Albin asking for Jasmin to pick short rail, long rail, come in between the 9-7. He's got exactly what he ordered. And that will work.
This would be very much in keeping with the flow of this match. It has been a close contest
so far. And this is only the second rack in the second set. This one maybe, well, I would say a little scrappier, but not really. Just good safety play by Team Ouschan's. It's rewarded them with 2 ball in hands. The first one needed a little bit more work. And Jasmin finds herself at the table a little bit high on the 9. Could just drop this in dead weight. Of course, could come around the rails and has played that beautifully, making this 10 ball a bit easier for her brother. And Albin Ouschan with the fist bump, and Jasmin bring the scoreline back to 1 apiece in this second set. And while we just get them balls racked together, gonna have a little look over in the other 3 matches in this losers round 3 group. After taking the first set, Chen Masio are also leading 2-0 in the second, and they're playing against Song Zelinsky. Fu Grabber taking their opening set against Reparo FSR. Well, Reparo and FSR are 3-2 in the second, looking to bring that all square and take it to a third decider. And the all-German pairing of Ina Kaplan and Moritz Neuhausen, well,
they're 1 apiece in the second set, but they are trailing 1-0. Wang Al-Qaeda taking the opening set there. As we return to the statistics, well, it does tell a fair reflection. The scoreline tells an even fairer one. It was a good contact. Cue ball took big hit. Nothing dropped. Team Tkach Kaci out of the chair with,
well, what has to be said is not a bad look at the run out here. Except I have just confused the 1 with the 9. That 1 ball is covered by the 6. So a quick deliberation on where to play the push to, which they've played. Kristina pushing that cue ball as close as she can to the short rail, and now it will be Jasmin and Albin's choice whether to take this on or give it back. We'll get to see what Kristina and Eklent had up their sleeve if they do give it back. Doesn't look like they are. Or does it? Jasmin just keeping us guessing. And this is what I like, you know, clearly Eklent and Kristina had something up their sleeve. That was it. Thin cut on the one, focused on bringing the cue ball through that gap. It's missed the traffic. That is a nice position that they have left their opponents in. There is a jump shot on. It looks like it's just the 5 that needs to be jumped over. The 8 and the 6 do not look to be in the way. Oh, that's a foul. Did not get the elevation and the cue ball over the 5. Now it's team Kaci's turn to get to the table with ball in hand. Not a bad looking layout. Maybe 6 to 7 only because where the 8 is, but once the 5's taken care of, that should make that a little bit easier to consider. But first, onto the 2. Well, it looks like the 3 has both bottom right and bottom left open, so might not need to do too much off the 2 here. But he did. Oh my. Okay. Not necessarily gone to plan. Yeah, I was going to say, going to have to play it for the right side pocket to keep the energy in the cue ball to come back up down table. Fraught with danger. Made the pot. How's the cue ball? Oh my. Delightful. That's a fantastic shot that Kristina's pulled out of her bag there. Needed to be. Eklent just put her in a spot of bother. Now. Eklent's going to have to make up for that, I feel, and leave Kristina on a 6pence here.
Ooh, I was about to let him off, but that cue ball's just run on a little bit more to the long rail. Shouldn't pose Kristina a problem. I really do like the overhead view. It really does reveal the pattern as if you were reading it in a book. This was the one I alluded to earlier. Because of the 8 ball, just needs a bit more precision on the cue ball. Kristina telling Eklent where she wants the cue ball. I like it straight away. He's just running maybe slightly towards the long rail. It's not straight. But enough angle to force follow. And that's pretty much where Kristina asked for it. Oh, that's just dying a little. This 10 ball to get their neck back out, one rack in front again in this second set. Oh, with the shot clock beep on the backswing, Eklent Kaçi tucks that one away, and what a back and forth we're having now in this second set. As the statistics come in, well, to catch Kaci on an 800 POP, Ouschan's not had as much of a look in at 688. Break success is where the revelation should come in the first set. Team Ouschan 75%, which served them well, but it didn't win them the set. So something's going to need to happen with Team Ouschan on home soil here in Austria. Have a quick look at the scores on the doors. Well, 2 results in. Kawahara Naoki Oi have won in straight sets 2-0 against Zhang Zolnoki. And in the match over on table 1, the fillers have won in straight sets 2-0. I don't think that would have been imagined if you'd have joined with Eastern Shore leading 3-0 in the opening set. But Pia and Joshua pulling out a performance there, and that's a winner's qualification match, so they will find their next match in the quarterfinals. These teams will have a little bit longer to go, because even in winning this, they still have to win another in the losers qualification bracket. On this occasion, the 1 ball, whilst tracking towards the side pocket, took a knock. And usually when that happens, a dry break is abound. Thin cut on the 1. Does pass the 3 into this corner pocket as well. If attack is the option, may also pass the 4 to the top right, but cue ball's going to be travelling if they take this 1 ball on. I said the cue ball would be travelling. He's aimed in that cue ball into the 10 off the pot. That's taken all the energy out and left quite a nice combination here for Jasmin, but she will be coming into the blue 2 with a little angle, so wants to be very careful that that 2 doesn't freeze up against the 4 with no shape on it. Oh, very well judged. Had every possibility of going wrong. Jasmin now leaving Albin in a good position with a nice open table to consider. And as you can see, 4 has the top right pocket available as well as the side, with this 3 gone, bottom right as well, but I feel she can just draw out towards the centre of the table from this to take the 4 into the top right. Oh, what a back and forth. Team Tkach Kaci taking the opening rack in the second set.
Ouschan's fighting back, 1-1. Then Tkach Kaci again, getting the neck out in the lead. And it looks like Team Ouschan's going to respond accordingly. Jasmin just looking at the angle. She wants to leave Albin on the 8. Very nicely done. And yes, this second set still finely in balance. Not too sure which side the scales are going to tip yet. But it will be Team Ouschan back to the table with their break for this 5th rack in the second set. Quick look out over at the other matches in this losers 3rd round. No results yet. 1 match going through to a 3rd set already. It looks like Fu and Grabber have had, or rather, Rapero Sanchez Ruiz won the 2nd set, brought it back to 1 apiece against Fu and Grabber. And they're just having a break now, getting ready for their 2nd. Kaplan Neuhauser, well, they're trailing 3-1 in the 2nd and 1-0 in sets to Wang Al-Qaeda. I tell you, Al-Qaeda and Wang are looking in form and good position to take that match. And Song Zelensky, who are trailing 1-0 against Chen Maciel, they're back to 2 apiece in that 2nd set, looking to take it to a 3rd set thriller. Just missed the stats, but 2-2. Jasmin Ouschan to break. Must-win set for Team Ouschan. Similar situation. That 1 ball was tracking towards the side pocket. I'm not too sure if it was tracking right on it, but keeps taking an awkward knock before it gets there, so we never get to find out. Nothing on the 1 for Kristina Tkach here. Push very likely to be order of the day. However, where that 1 ball's positioned, you just fear the Ouschans are going to pick a nice spot for a safe. Just looking at a position to push to into cover with the 4-5. Very likely that the Ouschans will give this back. However, they might fancy taking this on. They're jumping through the middle of the 2. No, not worth the risk. And he's called the 1 in the side pocket. He wants to be careful, because if he plays it in such a way, he may end up finding the cue ball locked on the 3. And the 2 ball is up in the top right to consider.
Oh, what a shot. Went around the 3 and scuttled back into it even. Maybe hampered queuing for Kristina, but a great opening shot. That's exactly where Eklent wanted Kristina to push it to. Jasmin and Albin refused to take it on, and Kaci said thank you. He's having a look. 3 past the 7. 3 must pass the 7. So Kaci just asking for either a frozen cue ball off this 2, or any draw would be gladly accepted. Wonderful cueing. If it keeps going like this back and forth, the advantage is with Team Tkach Kaci. At the table, certainly looking in good position. I'm not too sure if they've had a look at the 6 yet, and if it passes the 7. Looks like it might. Oh, Eklent heard me. He's just gone to check. That would indicate it does. Eklent just asking for Kristina to finish low on this 5 into the right side pocket. Just like that, and as you can see, the 6 passes the 7 from the overhead. It's all going to be down to the 7 to the 8 position. As I mentioned, 32 teams in this tournament when it started, $100,000 total prize pool. And these teams fighting out for $40,000 to the champ. $20,000 to second place even. There is a big prize pot for making it to the quarterfinals and beyond. That's come over enough. This has been a real seesaw of a second set. Very accurate, good cue ball. This to put Team Tkach Kaci on the double hill. And they have done that. Probably the biggest fist bump of them yet. Sees Team Tkach Kaci take a 3-2 lead in this race to 4 second set. They're leading 1-0. The next one could be the match for them. Well, we just have a quick look out across the winners qualification matches. As I mentioned, 2 results already. Kawahara Oi through and Pia Joshua Filler through. Well, Han Yu and Wu are 1-0 up against Wesolowska Snigocki, and the 2 Polish players have responded. They're 2-0 up in their second set. And in the remaining winners qualification match, Hiraguchi Shevchek taking the opening set. They are also leading 2-1 in the second set against Liu, Shasha Liu and Sei. Back to the stats. Well, you have to say, well, you have to say, the Ouschans look like they have the healthier of the statistics in some areas, but not others, and it sort of balances itself out from a quick look. And that really is reflected with the scoreline. Break success probably slightly better overall for Ouschans, but it's about when you make the breaks when it matters. Coming up after this, starting at 7 p.m, which is an hour and 15 minutes from now, will be more action in this Predator mixed doubles open rather. It'll be losers qualification action. If I get a little inkling of who's playing in that, I will bring it to you, but if you want to check it out for yourselves and follow it live, ProBilliardsSeries.com. And if you're enjoying the live action from Pro Billiard TV and Predator, please do like, share and subscribe. We do appreciate it. We love your comments in the chat. We really do appreciate your support. It's what keeps us driven and bringing to you these wonderful events. Eklent Kaçi to break, leading 3-2 with Kristina Tkach by his side. This break, this rack, is an opportunity for them to take this match now. Oh, we've seen that happen already in this match with Eklent. It may have been his first break of the match even. That 9-ball careering round the rails and finding the bottom left corner. But I've got a feeling this is what happened the last time. No shot on the next ball. The next ball being the 1. Two ways to go. Right long rail or left long rail. Where the 5 is, there's a good chance of making the 5. Certainly worth calling as insurance. They're having a little giggle.
Extension.
Yeah, they're calling the extension. It is off the break, let's not forget. So they could play a push if they just didn't fancy getting anywhere near it. But it's a little bit of a tempter. I mean, even if you catch the rail slightly early, there's still good chance that 5's going to drop. No, got a chunk of that rail a little bit earlier. However, good distance. It's left a very straight looking 1 on, and with the cue ball not up against that short rail, this will be tempting for Team Ouschan, and you feel there's a lot of value in taking this on. Yeah, I think that little brush up and down of her cue shaft is just priming herself for this, taking this 1 on. She's had another look at the shape on the 2. Oh, that wasn't far away at all. She played it at such a delicate pace. Not a complete sellout. May decide to play the 1 up onto the 5. We'll leave a little bit down to where they can get the cue ball. They did take it on. Successfully so, with the cue ball sticking around. Eklent just asking her to bring it around behind the 7. Like so. Ooh. Now this is blossoming nicely into a match-winning opportunity for Team Eklent Kaçi. Okay, it's just going to be running away from the 4. May want to bring it in and off the short rail. That will do. Quite straight, but we've seen Eklent generate power to punch these off the long rail and back out centre table. Starting to look a little bit ominous for Team Ouschan here on home soil in Austria. Would have been really looking to represent but you can't take anything away from these. What a pairing. After going down in the opening set with their opponents on the hill, 3-1 up, they fought back with a very timely break and run as well involved. And they have completed with a second set win as well, as they all shake hands cordially, including the ref. Well, it didn't go to a third set. I half expected it to. And this will be an exit for Team Ouschan. Congratulations to Team Eklent Kaçi.
They still are not out of the woods yet, though. They will move through to the losers qualification match. And that will be starting in just over an hour from now. And they will need to win that to get into the prize money. My name's Gethin Davis.
It's been a pleasure having you all join me as we bring the statistics